Assassin's Promise by Thomas Woodward, Chapter 119. I felt at a loss. Where was my journey taking me? I lay on the narrow bed, waiting for the storm outside to pass. Stannon had revealed almost nothing of his true intentions for what we would do once we reached his destination. True, he had allowed me to escape my tiny fly-speck village in the desert, but I dreaded what payment he would demand of me for this favor. I was to obey him in all things. That was what he had said. Perhaps I will show you something of what I know. His voice played in my head. It was clear now that he was an assassin, or something similar. I had never seen men killed before with such ease as Stannon had done. It should bother me, but for some reason it did not. In truth, it didn't seem real. Each day I assumed there was a chance I would simply wake as if from some strange dream. But I wanted to travel. I would see the great city of Kaibar. He had promised me he would take me there. Well, after a fashion. What use could an assassin have for someone like me, a youth? I had been afraid for a long time to press Stannon for details, fearing that he would simply leave me where I stood, stranded in the middle of nowhere, with no connections. Or maybe he would change his mind and simply snuff me out in a passing fancy. I walked a delicate line, but with the addition of Eve, I felt bolder somehow, more sure of myself. Perhaps now I could ask more of what Stannon had in store for me. Eve had threatened Stannon when he had appeared in the sunlit courtyard back in the ancient city. What had she said about him? She had called him a betrayer. What crimes had Stannon committed? And how was it possible that he had been there before when we came upon the city? Both of us had been lost, delirious from the heat. Stannon had not even seen the city until I pointed it out to him. But Eve had been so sure. I did not want to doubt her without sound reason. I felt her hand touch mine, and I felt a spark of electricity. She was beautiful. None of her beauty had been diminished in her transformation. I wanted to hold her in my arms. Recently, she had seemed so withdrawn. I was worried, but I felt unsure how to act. "What are you thinking, boy?" Stannon's voice cut the silence like a razor. Looking over, I saw him staring straight at me, an unworried look on his face. "There is no sense attempting to run off. I will find you. Remember our bargain." Stannon's voice grated like iron filings over lead. All of the humor was gone, as if it had never been. How could I have let my guard down? I felt a spike of worry that I had miscalculated somehow, but realized I hadn't said anything yet in return. My breathing sounded loud in my ears. "I have not forgotten," I said quickly. "I still want to see Kaibar. I will do what is necessary for you to take me there," I said. "Good." Stannon kept his eye on me another moment or two, trying to bore into mine. Eventually I looked away, unable to maintain the gaze. I could feel Eve had tensed her grip on me, her supple arm muscles taut. "Don't be longer than an hour. I will be watching." With that, Stannon looked away. I could see his hand clenching the sheath of the shadow blade before slipping it back into place. The wind seemed to rage louder. I closed my eyes and tried to wait for it all to pass.